Play analysis. Hell to the old gold. Hell to the black. The Little Rock Central High Football Tigers are back right here on JoinNetRadio.com. You got it. He's Little Rock's answer to your aggravation. Join Network.
The views and opinions expressed today on Black Focus Radio are not the views and opinions of the station, its management, or its advertisers. Now, let's get ready to focus on our issues, our solutions, using our voices on Black Focus Radio.
Welcome to Black Focus, the show designed with our community in mind, where we focus on our issues, developing our solutions, using our voices. Central Arkansas, surrounding areas, and the nation. Get ready. Black Focus starts right now. Phone lines open at 855-525-5683. So here's your host, David W. Coleman and Robert Webb.
Hey, what's happening? Welcome to the show, the Tuesday edition. Black Focus Radio, our issues, our solutions, our voices. 855-525-5683 is the number. That's how you get in touch with us if you want to talk to us. We don't get many calls. We'd like to hear from you. You can call us.
They scared.
You know, Robert doesn't bite.
They scared.
You know, so he's actually a nice guy. You just gotta give him a cup of coffee or something. He likes expensive coffee. I'm just saying.
They're funny.
You know,
Hilarious.
but other than that, call us up. I would like to remind you that the podcasts are beginning to get uploaded. I've uploaded yesterday's show. Just go out to Spotify or Apple, whatever one you prefer. And if you missed the show, you can download the podcast and listen to it live, okay? Also, I understand a lot of you all listen to Facebook. Go out and download the JoinNet app. Go to JoinNetRadio.com and download that app so you can have it available and you can take it anywhere you want, okay? Even if you're listening to the Little Rock Central broadcast, that's going to be Friday night. See, Facebook just dropped off right there. Go ahead and download that. Also, you can go out to YouTube and catch Black Focus Radio as well. So there are becoming multiple means by which you can catch the show, okay? So keep that in mind going forward. But yeah, it's dropping off today and don't really know why. It's not us, it's Facebook. Piece of crap. I'm just saying. We need our own Facebook, man. We need our own Facebook. Yeah, y'all wouldn't support it anyway. I'm just saying. That bank president's message yesterday is still kind of sticking with me. Think about it. 10% of that $1.2 trillion, and that would create 1 million jobs in the black community.
Yeah.
Think about that.
Yeah. No, I mean, I get the
Wow.
I get the impact. I see it.
It's mind-boggling. Okay, a lot of stuff has went on. We'll talk about that. But before we do anything, why don't we just do Black Facts and get everything else started?
Dynamic Black Facts. Our culture, our history, our people.
Let's see here. What do I want to talk about today? Oh, well, let's talk about this. August 19th will make 400 years of the first documented African Americans' arrival brought to America as indentured servants. Children suffered and continue to suffer cruelties such as sex slaves, forced child labor, physical abuse, and in some cases, human cannibalism in the United States. These cruelties are part of the human trafficking, where body organs and other body parts are sold to wealthy people. These atrocities, abuse, and modern-day slavery will plague America like an incurable cancer until we address the ugly past. When Dr. Antoinette Harrell thought that she had heard the worst of the worst, there was even more to discover. Harrell heard 4 stories that were so evil that most people didn't want to talk about what they experienced or repeat the painful experiences told to them by their family members. No one wants to visit things that hurt them. Having such hurtful injustices to resurface can take them back to a time and a place and a period in their lives they do not want to remember. Many unfortunate events to children happened to children during slavery, Reconstruction, and Jim Crow that continues to this very day. The story of Johnny Lee Gaddy, shared with PNH researcher Dr. Antoinette Harrell, will upset your stomach. Johnny witnessed a child's hand in a hog pen at the infamous Arthur G. Dozier Reform School in Florida. Gaddy told Harrell during a radio interview that he saw the severed hand of a child in the fire pit while taking out trash to be burned. Gaddy knew it was a body part from one of the boys. After discussing what he saw with one of the boys, he was told never to tell anyone what he saw if he wanted to stay alive. Gaddy alleges they were cooking the boys and feeding them to hogs. Gaddy told Harrell that he worked as a slave cutting lumber, raising livestock, farming the land. He worked in the swamp with large alligators and snakes. Boys younger than Gaddy also had to work hard at Dozier. Gaddy said his life was a living hell at the state-operated school. The Reform School was in operation from January 1900 to June 30th, 2011 by the state of Florida in the Panhandle. This was not a surprise to her. She had previously met a family who was held in the system of peonage in Gillsburg, Mississippi in the 1960s. Kane Wall Sr. was 107 years old at the time he told Harold his family story. He recalled a time when a man rode a horse throughout the area and picked up black babies, cut them, and used them for fish bait. Wall said, "I saw the blood dripping from the sacks on the side of the horse. Everybody would grab their children when they heard he was coming to town. He was a mean and evil man," Mr. Wall said. Some people in the South claim white men used black babies as alligator bait in the swamps of Louisiana and Florida. They used the babies to lure large alligators with human flesh and blood during the era of slavery. They kidnapped the babies, skinned them alive, and dropped them into the swamp water. In 1923, a publication in the Times Magazine reported from Chipley, Florida, that black babies were being used as alligator bait. On June 3rd, 1908, the Washington Times reported that a zookeeper in the New York Zoological Garden baited alligators with pickaninnies. Pictures, postcards, and other trinkets were sold to commemorate this evil, dark practice. D'Angelo and Kirk Manuel, intern researchers with Harrell, recently traveled to Shibuya, Mississippi to investigate 6 lynchings. The Manuels read how 4 young black people were lynched at the Hanging Bridge in 1918. Those lynched were brothers Major 20, Andrew Clark 16, and sisters Alma 16 and Maggie 20. Maggie was 6 months pregnant and Alma was due in 2 weeks. Both of the young women were pregnant by the dentist who employed them. Major signed up for the draft in World War I and on September 9, 1918 was lynched in December 1918. Ernest Green and Charles Lane were lynched in 1942 in the same town in Mississippi. Their life was cut short, if no telling what the future held for those young boys. We will never know the effects they could have on this world. Johnny Lee Gaddy is one of many stories that needs to continue research. Johnny Lee Gaddy was taken from his mother in Clearwater, Florida in 1957 and driven to the Arthur G. Dozier Reform School in Marianna, Florida, without due process from the courts and legal representation. He served his time and was eventually released to his mother. Harold's team consists of photographers, videographers, screenwriters who are dedicated in assisting Harold with bringing these stories to the forefront. And that's our Black Fact Reparations. Black Fact Reparations. Black Fact Reparations of the day.
What's that podcast thing you said there?
Our culture, our
What was the podcast you was talking about? What was the podcast you was talking about?
Anchor FM.
Anchor.
All right, if you'd like to sponsor Dynamic Black Facts, you can do so as well. That piece is on my wall as well. Here's the bottom line here, folks. You still don't think we need reparations. And I've been doing this now for almost 3 months, specifically having black facts that prove beyond a shadow of a doubt that reparations must be paid. I want my check. Okay. It's
You want to get paid.
I want to be paid.
It's time to get paid.
That's just the bottom line of it. Okay. So we got a lot of stuff to talk about. Certainly, I'm sure we'll get into. I put in a call for Dr. Whitfield. I might have you to do it again, see if we can get her on today. But remember what I said, I guess it was has it been a month that I told you, I said on the air that Asa Hutchinson had told the black community to kiss his ass.
Yeah, you treating all them niggas the same.
Remember when I said that? And y'all were just aghast
Y'all still niggas.
at what I said. And I told you all that a long time ago. So I'm not surprised that they've come out with this new rule for schools, because they had no intentions of ever giving you all back your school district. When they took it, their whole intent was to get it and keep it. Okay? Now,
Their intention was to get it and charterize it.
well, keep it, whatever, you charterize it, chlorize it, everything.
But you gotta admit though, it was kind of smooth, right? So you snatch up the school, then all of a sudden you come back and say, hey, guess what, black folk, we want to help you niggas. So we gonna give y'all the fort in GL. You niggas need this. You niggas need this really bad. The little white folk, we gonna get to you. Here you go. Take it and go on about your business. Now, Negroes. Right?
Yeah.
It was smooth as hell.
Yeah.
Smooth as silk, baby. Smooth as silk.
I guess the question I have now, where do y'all go from here? I'm wondering, because when I was talking about y'all need to walk out and strike, I was considered radical.
Well, back in the
Where
day,
do you go from here?
January 28th, I guess I can share this now, but January 28th, 2015, I remember very specifically myself and Nika Whitfield, who else was it? Attorney John Walker, State Rep John Walker. I'm trying to think of who else was in that room. I want to say Joyce was in there. I might be wrong. But man, it was a room full of folks, man. Nika said, y'all need to strike. Captain Cole's like, oh, hell no, we can't strike. We can't strike.
Well, that's when they struck that deal with Captain.
Yeah, that's when Captain struck the deal and said, you know what, I need to save my shit. I need to make sure I got to make sure I have a full-time release, if nothing else. I mean, she gave up the farm to make sure she had full-time release. She gave away the whole thing. But, man, that's the thing. And then she said at that board meeting, man. Did y'all hear what she said at that board meeting? Teachers that teach at these black schools are more prone to disease. Y'all hear that?
No, I didn't watch it.
She said that at the board meeting, at the state board meeting. I'm just amazed, man. I'm just amazed that some of this stuff continues to happen. All I gotta say is, nigga, what?
I mean, why do you think it continues to happen?
again, I am a businessman now. I am not an advocate.
I'm just asking for your opinion,
I
Mr.
think-
Businessman.
I think the reason it continues to happen is that, first off, I think the most important reason that it's happened is because there was no organization of parents. You didn't organize parents. The first shot across the bow was, hey, you know what? We're going to take your district. Nothing happened. Nothing happened. Not one damn thing. Nobody did nothing. People bitched about it, but ain't nobody do nothing significant. I mean, I know people say, the marches were significant and all the other stuff.
Were they?
Well, I mean, some people think they were. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not going to criticize them for what they tried to do because I don't know. I don't know if it was effective or not. But my thing is, if you're not having conversation with decision makers, stop, Dave. If you're not having conversation with decision makers,
I got a question,
okay.
sir. Can
Go
I
ahead.
interrupt
Go
the
ahead.
lecture?
Go ahead, man.
So if the marches were effective, how did we get to this point? Go right ahead. You don't have to answer that right.
Well, so again, the first shot across the bow was taking the district, right? And there was no huge pushback from parents, right? Well, guess what they did then? They came back and said, okay, Little Rock, we're gonna take away teacher fair dismissal. Now, you would think you take away teacher fair dismissal, at least you're gonna have parents, at least you're gonna have teachers organized, right?
Yeah.
They come down and say, oh, we ain't taking this. Well, that didn't happen either.
By the way, that teacher's job fair is October 1st, not October 5th.
At least they're helping them find employment though, right? But the thing is man,
Now, I think they're looking for new teachers.
I wouldn't doubt it. Because you ain't got to be certified when they take the district law charter. You ain't got to have a license. So, first thing is they shoot that shot across. They shot the first shot. They shot the second shot. And then they realize, oh, you niggas ain't got nobody lined up with y'all. Y'all fighting by yourself. Well, here we go. Let's take them all the way out. Let's reconstitute the district. Let's take it all charter. Because they can't stop it. Because, I mean, you had 4 years to organize, pull everybody together.
Yeah.
I mean, how can you have a meeting? How can you have press conferences where you say you want to talk to the governor? You should already be having conversations with them, man. You can't be talking about I want to talk to him now. You should have been talking with him the whole time. This is craziness. But I mean, they just sent that message though. It's over with. Stick a fork in them. I mean, you gotta come at this point. I think you gotta come so hard. It ain't even funny. I mean, because if I could blame somebody right now, I'd blame the teachers. I blame the teachers union, especially LREA. This is your fault. This is their fault because they ain't even stand up for their damn self. So how they gonna stand up for our kids? That's what's crazy. They ain't even stand up for their own self. I mean, dude, they shot at them first. They shot at them.
So they didn't stand their ground, in other words.
They ain't never stood their ground.
But you still didn't.
But again, though, but why would they stand their ground, right? Because at the end of the day, they send us a message that all they care about is a damn check. They still getting the checks at school. We ain't gonna fight. They ain't stop my check. Let's keep fighting, y'all. Let's keep chilling. Let's just chill. But now, all of a sudden, now your check is in jeopardy. You might be looking like, oh shit, we might need to do something now.
Yeah, it seems like I did hear someone told me that was a teacher type who said that a lot of the teachers didn't want to strike because they were basically concerned about losing their income. Something along.
How would they lose their income?
I don't know. I wasn't trying to hear that.
Teachers in Oklahoma struck. Teachers in West Virginia. Teachers in where else was it?
It was Wisconsin, I believe.
Wisconsin, whoever it was, they struck and they didn't lose their income.
In fact, they got what they asked for.
Yeah.
Because how many kids are in the Little Rock School District?
Was it 23,000?
Isn't it more than that?
No, I think something like 23,000.
Well, 23,000 kids not going to school every day. Well, that could get real problematic for elected officials.
Well, I don't think they can do it now, though, because I think they got a plan. I think now, the thing is something like this works when they don't have a plan for it, right? But I think now the board has realized, yeah, if these folks strike, we need to have a plan in place.
They don't have a plan.
I believe they do. Well, this is the thing, Dave.
Look, 23,000 kids.
We make the assumption that these folks ain't ready. These folks ain't put this plan out there. They ain't already got all that stuff in line. They ain't did that. They ain't like us. They ain't did that. They ready. They ready. They want you to strike now. That make them go charter quicker. They want you to walk out now.
Well, they don't have. So in other words, either way, if that's the case, they're gonna go charter either way.
Oh yeah,
That's
they
what
go.
this is
I
at.
believe they're going charter. Without a doubt, I believe they're going
So
charter.
what I'm saying right now, whether they walk out or don't walk out, I believe they're going charter either way. So at this point, I'd hit the bricks. Now, who am I to tell someone to do that? Because number one, I don't have a kid in the public schools, nor am I a teacher.
But you still make an investment in public
but
schools.
but the point I'm trying to make to these people that I've been saying when I first got here, why don't y'all strike? Why don't y'all walk out? I kept hearing this stuff where, oh, well, it's illegal to walk to strike. And
Well, let me tell you
what
why
are they gonna
can't-
do?
Let me tell
Fire
you why
you?
they can't strike. Well, yeah. Let me tell you why they can't strike.
They're gonna fire all the
Hold on.
teachers in Little
Hold
Rock.
on. When Baker Kurz was there, Kathy Kohler, who was then the president of LREA, she struck a deal that she put into that contract that they wouldn't strike. But she kept full-time release.
But then
She kept full-time release.
But didn't teachers have to vote on that? Yes, they did.
And what's your point?
So the point is that although she struck that deal, teachers voted on that for her to allow her to strike that deal. So I think it goes back to what you said earlier. It's their damn fault.
Yes, they fought. She even if they voted on it, they didn't know what they was voting on.
Well,
Probably.
that's stupid. You're teachers. You're educators. You didn't know what you were voting on? I don't want to hear that.
It is what it is.
That's
man.
almost like the dog ate my homework.
Pretty much. It is what it is.
Oh
man.
boy, this
It
is
is
a
what it is,
joke,
man.
man.
I mean,
My
seriously.
gosh.
Seriously, the whole way through, they've been sitting back going, we didn't think it was going to be this easy. Because they ain't had to do, they ain't had to work for one thing. I
Nope.
think, and everybody was sitting around saying, oh my God, look at how they're doing these constitution meetings. Oh my God, look how they're doing these meetings. Yeah, they just taking them over. Well, to some people, that was a good thing. But you can't take over a meeting if you don't have a line of communication. You with me? How can I take over a meeting and I don't have a line of communication?
So I disagree with you there.
Okay, go ahead.
You can't take over a meeting unless you have a hammer.
You can't take over. So this is the thing, Dave.
But you hear what I say.
I hear you. I hear you talking about the hammer. But Dave, you don't have an open or clear line of communication with anyone. Not Key, not the state board, not anybody.
So
not even the governor.
So if you have a hammer, you will have that open line of communication.
Not really.
Oh yes, you
Not
will.
really. But Dave, now.
You just mentioned 4 states that struck
Yeah,
teachers.
but
you
again,
know why they got what they
again,
wanted?
They had communications going on the whole time.
They had hammers.
They were communicating though.
They were initially. Then they stopped, and then they let the hammer fall, and then the communication lines opened back up.
Well, you gotta have communications, and right now
So guess
I don't
what?
see anybody communicating.
So if I'm getting ready to come to your house and serve a warrant, and you're a
You better
felon,
bring a SWAT team.
okay, you're a felon.
You better bring a SWAT team.
Okay,
You better
I'm gonna
bring a
have
SWAT
something to
team.
knock your door down,
You
right?
better bring a SWAT team.
Okay, I may not have to use it.
But you gotta have conversations before you just start
Okay,
kicking in
we're
doors.
gonna have conversation. We're gonna have the hostage negotiate on the phone talking to me. Okay, but what I'm saying is that I don't want to use, my brand new door breaker tractor, but if I have to, I will. The fact what I've been trying to tell people all along is that politicians don't listen to you unless you got them over a barrel. Okay, and had the teacher said, okay, look. And here's the other thing. They didn't even have to strike. Just don't show up to school one day.
Get the blue flu, huh?
That's easy. It's the same thing that I've been saying about athletes and boycotting these colleges. All you got to do is threaten that you're not going to show, that you're not going to be there when you're supposed to be there. Look, everybody has a damn plan until you get hit in the mouth. And they might pretend they got a plan, but when you got 23,000 kids that don't have anywhere to go tomorrow morning, that rings a lot.
Well,
because all of a sudden
hold
you got national news.
If you're going to be successful, you also have to have somewhere for those kids to go. You can't just leave the kids out there hanging.
But
I
hear what you're saying. But here's what I'm saying. Parents hadn't been listening.
It ain't parents.
No. Listen to my point.
We make the assumption.
Listen to my point. apparently parents hadn't been listening, hadn't been paying attention to what's going on. So I'm going to send a message to the parents, and I'm going to send a message to the politicians, okay? That tomorrow we sick. Now, you all parents need to start asking the politicians what's going on. How do we fix this?
I don't think
that's what I'm saying.
I don't think that's how you win friends.
Hey, you may not win, but at this point, look, at this point, what choice do you have? What choice do you have?
Well, what you should have been doing the whole time. You have to start organizing parents.
But again, you still don't have any. You still don't have any gravitas with the parents because the parents are not paying attention. If the parents were paying attention, then we wouldn't have gotten this far.
We make the assumption that parents aren't paying attention.
Where are they?
We make the assumption. But again, think about what the school district has done to parents over the last 20 years.
We can make all those excuses we want, but at the end of the day, your children are in this school district, and the governor has taken over the school district, and you all as parents are not asking questions. You all not participating in the process.
Because you know what? Parents are saying, hey, you know what? Y'all screwed over us.
Okay, so there you go. So that's what we got. So you get what you get in this city. Okay? I'm like you. I'm done trying to save your asses if you're not willing to save yourself. You see what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, parents at the end of the day,
why is it always got to be? Why
teachers spend
back on the parents? It ain't
teachers spend more time with your children than any other person in their lives. And you ought to be participating. Period. End of story.
I think the example has been set about how some teachers interact with kids by what.
That's not all the teachers. That's not all the teachers.
But unfortunately, when you have someone who's held the highest positions in the teachers union to say something like that, that speaks volumes.
Well,
now, am I saying it's right or wrong? No. But I'm just saying, if you have someone with that kind of clout from LREA and AEA, dude, that's huge.
Well, that means that the parents, where are the organizational parent clubs for schools? Whatever they call them, the PTSA or whomever. Where are they? Exactly. That's my point. You got to be invested in your child's education. You can't look, it's like this. When you take your car to a mechanic and you say, yo dog, I need you to fix my brakes. And you get out and your car's squeaking.
Hold on.
No, let me finish. Okay. And your car's squeaking. Do you call them up and say, hey man, I just had you to fix my brakes. Something ain't right here. And if he said, well, that's tough. What you gonna do? That's what has happened. The governor said tough. They don't care because you weren't concerned about your brakes. You didn't care. And now all of a sudden he done tinkled in your face and telling you raining, and all of a sudden you wanna raise hell. It's too late. That's what I'm saying. What has to happen now is that you need to be coming up with alternatives. Teachers and parents.
But you haven't organized any parents, Dave. How the hell are you going to come with alternatives?
Look, whatever way you need to do it, that's what needs to be done. Period. Because if you don't, look, by the way, this ship has already sailed. Charter schools are on the way. This has been an ALEC and Republican thing for the last 25 years. You all are late to the party.
And they're doing it to all black districts, just like they did in Detroit.
And just like they did in Louisiana.
New Orleans.
Of course.
Yeah.
This is on the way, folks. Now, the question you need to be asking is how is this going to affect my children? This ain't a teacher thing anymore. It ought to be a parent thing. But what I'm saying is
because they go all charter, they don't need these teachers.
Okay, but that's exactly. So my point is that you ought to be asking, how does this affect my children? Some responsibility has got to be on parents. Parents have got to say, hey, wait a minute.
What bothers me is every time I look up, you're always throwing parents under the bus. It's always on the parents.
Look, let me ask you something.
Let me back you up.
Let me ask you something. When your kids were in school, were you concerned about what was going on in their school?
Yeah, to some degree.
To some degree, right?
But I knew my kids would be all right regardless.
Well, my concern was when my kids were in school, I went to PTA meetings. I went to board meetings. I was concerned about everything that was going on as it relates to my child education, and in particular the school that they attended. I was there. Hey, it wasn't easy.
But you had.
I was a single parent.
I had to work.
You see what I'm saying?
You had the luxury to do that.
No, it wasn't a luxury. I just said it wasn't easy. I was a single parent. I was working 16 hours a day.
You had the luxury to do that.
So, and by the way,
You had the
my
luxury to do
son lived 3 hours away from me. So when he had a PTA meeting, I was there. Okay? So I'm sorry. Look, I know a whole lot of things are going on, but there's a method to why I'm getting to this, why I'm talking about this. Because at some point, black people have got to be responsible for black people. Period.
What's the point of
Okay?
having-
So if you
got-
give me a
hold
system,
on.
if you give me a school system, and you tell me that system is going to educate my children, then I'm going to be in your ASS as much as I can to make sure that I'm getting my children are getting the education they deserve. That's what ought to be happening.
But you got advocates. What
I'm
about
just
that?
saying.
So what? Nothing. None of this responsibility falls back on your advocates.
The ultimate responsibility
you
of
got a whole
educating
group
your
of people-
children
hold on, Dave.
is the parent.
Hold on 1 minute now, player. Hold on 1 minute now, player. You got a whole list of advocates who've been advocating on behalf of this thing the whole way through. And now you're going to put it all back on the parents now, right? Now you want to put all this on the parents. You ain't said nothing about the advocates. You ain't said nothing about the teachers. You ain't said nothing about nobody else. All of it fall right back on the parents.
I'm saying from a parental standpoint.
You expecting everybody to do what you do, and everybody can't do what you do.
I know
right?
everybody can't go to every meeting, but you know what? Y'all always want to holler, it takes a village. It takes a village. Well, you tag team a meeting. Well, Sister Johnson, I can't go to this meeting, but you go to this meeting. I'll go to the meeting next month, and so on and so forth. We have to be responsible for educating our children.
So you saying-
That's all I'm
so you
saying.
saying-
White people are not going to educate our children. They don't want to educate our children. And this is a classic example of what I've been saying. How long we been doing this show? 4 years. They don't want to educate black children. They don't want to live with black people. They don't want their children being educated by black teachers. So what must we do? We must take the money that is owed to us in tax dollars and the like and educate our own damn children. Period. End of story. That's what I'm saying. Now you call me crazy all you want, and I am crazy, but anyway. Tired of this mess, man.
What happened to you?
Need to educate our own
What-
children,
what
man.
did you do this
Hell,
week?
they don't even educate our children, man. They don't care. They don't care about our children, man. I read a story yesterday where
who does
a
that?
little
Who cares
6-year-old.
about our kids?
If we don't care about them, they sure as hell don't. Little
Well, who cares
6-year-old
about
girl was arrested because she had a temper tantrum. Had this girl arrested, handcuffed, and booked. They don't give a damn about our children.
Not uncommon.
Come on, man.
Not uncommon.
We need to wake up and say, okay, we need to be in planning sessions right now, black parents, and saying, hey, look, what do we need to do next? Not what the LREA is going to do, not what the AEA is going to do, but black parents. This is about black kids. Now, we need to be in churches and mosques and synagogues having a plan of action on what we're going to do to educate our children. That's the bottom line. Nothing else matters. I'm done.
Damn, Dave.
Woo-saw. Woo-saw. Woo-saw.
My only point of retort to that is through this whole process, we've been let down.
Yep.
That's it. Through the whole process, we've been let down. Because I mean, we put this in the hands of our leadership.
What leadership?
Put this in the hands of our leadership. You can't.
What
you can't knock your
leadership?
leadership, Dave. You can't knock your leadership.
Why can't? Okay. Wait a minute. Let me ask you something. You're a sports fan, right?
Mm-hmm.
If your quarterback ain't doing what the quarterback needs to do, what happens?
You take him out.
You take him out and you put somebody else back in. And you know what? If that one ain't doing what he needs to do, what are you doing? You're drafting another one, right? That's my point.
Yeah, I get that, but I think at this point, you have now allowed, or to some degree, you lost. I mean, January 28th, 2015, should have been organized. It should have been organizing parents, should have been organizing whoever. But you didn't do that. So now, here you are, you just got nothing but you know, you got a couple of teachers who you know, like I said, this thing has never had, the conversation has never been about education. And what has always struck me as odd is that, okay, so the district was taken over because of its poor performance. Nobody, if anything, I would have expected them to hold them, all right, give us a performance plan. What are you going to do to improve performance? We didn't even get that. All we've heard the whole way through is give us back our district.
Who was going to ask that?
That's what everybody should have been asking. All the advocacy groups. That's what they should have been asking for. If you took us over because of performance, give us a performance plan of how you're going to get us
should
back.
Parents have been asking that too?
Which advocacy groups?
Nah, I don't know. Just all of them. Whichever ones. Y'all not doing that for me, man.
Should-
I love everybody.
What?
Yeah, whatever, man.
Roselle, I can turn your mic on. Let me make sure his mic on over there.
But
I'm just observing.
You know, I'm just saying. Which like Roselle said, which advocacy group?
all of them. I didn't hear any of them ask, what is the performance plan?
Okay, but did parents ask?
Well, again, you keep throwing parents under the bus.
You can throw the little bus analogy out there all you want. Your ultimately responsibility is to your babies, okay? And at the end of the day, white people are not going to educate your children, okay? Stop sending your children to white schools, expecting them to educate your children.
You got way too far down the street to start talking about white folk. You can't start talking about white folk nowadays.
Well, look. My point is this.
Okay.
Is that it is your parents' responsibility to make sure that your child is getting a good education. Okay? That's just how I feel. You can call me crazy all you want. But you know when little Johnny can't read. You know when little Johnny can't count.
I don't disagree with that.
If your child is sitting up there every day, got his butt up in PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4 all damn day, hell no, he ain't doing his work. But are you asking the question, have you taken your butt to the school one time? Have you been to one PTA meeting? Have you went to one parent-teacher conference? That's all I'm saying. Because at the end of the day, when you look at the history of white people in America as it relates to educating black children, they don't want to do it. They refuse to do it, okay? So we must decide at some point whether you're Christian, whether you're Muslim, whether you're Episcopalian, Baptist, Church of God in Christ, it don't matter. It's time for you to educate your own damn children. Now, as I've said before, every church ought to be offering black history, okay? Every church ought to be tutoring. Every church, not one. You shouldn't have, if you're not big enough, you ought to be sharing with the church around the corner because you know you got a church on every damn corner in this city. That's what we ought to be doing. Don't talk to me about what the board has done to you. What are you doing for your damn self? I'm sorry. Woo-saw. Woo-saw. I'm tired, man. I'm tired of this mess. They done told us what they gonna do to us. The governor, I told you 3 months ago, this governor has told you to kiss his ass. I told you that.
But I mean, that's been apparent though.
Come on, man. Why don't y'all wake up?
Dave, but hold on. This is my problem, Dave. You can't start blaming the parents now for this.
I'm blaming everybody, but I'm blaming us.
You ain't talking about everybody.
I'm
You talking
blaming
about the parents.
us.
Who else you blaming besides the parents?
I'm blaming black folks.
Who else you blaming besides the
I'm
parents?
blaming black folks.
Name the black folks you blaming in particular. Name two.
I'm just tired of this.
Name two you blaming in particular.
This mess.
Name two you blaming in particular.
Look,
Name two.
They know who I'm talking about.
Name two you blaming in particular.
This is ridiculous, man. This makes no sense.
Man, what
would happen if black parents said tomorrow, hey, look, I ain't sending my child to school?
I honestly feel this all could have been avoided.
But it hasn't. Now, see, that's great. You know, we can sit and talk about what they could have done. Right now, there needs to be a plan of action. Okay? Somebody needs to be.
Is there somebody putting together a plan of action?
No, that's the problem. See, some black folks, whoever they call black leaders in this city, ought to be calling Reverend Johnson, Reverend Are You Black Enough, Sister Sarah, and all of them say, Sister Sarah, we having a meeting at the house tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Don't tell nobody, just bring somebody.
Yeah, most of them you can't trust. But listen.
That's the problem.
Listen.
You're exactly right.
This is my thinking. So, when they took over the district, everybody started singing from the same hymnal. They're going to take this district charter.
Yep.
Right? Mm-hmm. Now, if you know that, who is this going to have the greatest impact on? Mm-hmm. Teachers. Mm-hmm. Teachers are going to lose their jobs. So my thinking would be that the teachers would organize, they would get everything lined up, and they would start working their butts off to get parents to partner up with them, right? Mm-hmm. They didn't do that.
Mm-hmm. And LaTanya, I'm not covering for no damn leaders either. Y'all, just hush.
They didn't do that. They didn't do that.
Nope.
They did not do that. What they did was, they was like, shit, I'm thinking my check is all good. Let's keep rolling.
Exactly.
Let's keep rolling. You with me? Then they came out and said, you know what, we're going to get rid of teacher fair dismissal. They was like, oh, teacher fair dismissal, what does that mean? How does that look for anybody? Oh, well, we'll bite. That's not going to bother us. We're going to keep rolling. Yeah, let's keep going, right? Mm-hmm. I mean,
What's the racial makeup of teachers, black and white, in this city?
Man, I want to say, if memory serves, I want to say it's like 60-40. White.
White to black.
Yeah, I want to say 60-40.
All right, Dave, y'all talk me into it.
I don't think we talked him into it, man.
Yeah,
He's been over there chomping at the
but what's
bit.
problematic is that
is this thing on?
they keep shooting. I think you are. They keep shooting shots at you, right? And if you don't respond with other than loudness, then how do you expect to stem the tide? Because you can't just again taking over meetings is cool, right? I mean that's cool.
Didn't do nothing for me, but
Well,
go right ahead.
I'm saying taking over meetings is cool.
Girl, you really spoke well.
No.
Woo, you told them.
Taking
Woo,
over meetings
didn't do a
is
damn
cool.
thing.
But you can't take over meetings if you aren't having private conversations too. You can't do one without the other. That's my opinion.
You can't take over meetings if you don't have a hammer in your back pocket, where they
not
know
even- not even having a hammer.
if we don't talk to these people, this is gonna happen.
Yeah, but I'm sitting back here listening to what y'all were saying. Is this thing on? Because, you know, Dave, sometimes he won't turn my microphone on unless I agree with him. But I'm listening to your conversations, and both of y'all said some things that are very important, I think.
Thank you for that.
Thanks, Rizal.
I hate to.
We aim to please you.
I hate to.
Mr. White Man. Thank you, Mr. White Man.
I hate to discourage activism, and so my comments are not as meant to discourage. But I think both of you are correct in that I think we're past the point of no return at right now, and I think that whatever, and I've already known, and y'all have already known that whatever Asa Hutchinson and his homeboys had decided to do, they decided it a long time ago.
Exactly.
And they put the scheme into action a long time ago.
Yep.
Now there were some instances where circumstances just kind of developed that allowed them a better opportunity.
Right.
And I think some of those instances were, for one example, when the teachers union, LRSD, decided to negotiate and gave up, and you said it, Rob, they gave up a lot more than what they should have given up. They should not have compromised a lot of those things. And when I watched some of the news interviews at that time with the union president and with Michael Poore at that time, and also with Curtis, when I watched those, there was some times what the union president would say, I would be kind of perplexed or baffled myself, because it made no sense to me that a union president would be so willing and so eager to give up so much if the objective is to protect
Subterfuge.
the union members.
Yeah.
And I believe that, and one of the comments, and I'm going off memory now, but one of the comments the union president made at that time was that they referring to the state, had the ability and authority to do whatever they wanted. So she thought that the union should capitulate, to basically take whatever that they were willing to give them, because in her opinion, the state had the authority to do whatever they wanted to do. And if that were true, then the state would have never even been negotiating in good faith.
In good faith in the first place.
And
right.
so I think both of you are correct in these two things. Number one, it may be too little too late. I'm not discouraging activism. It may be too little too late to salvage or to save this district, because they've taken so many actions. They and Asa and the rest of them have taken so many actions to further their agenda that it's probably near impossible to turn around now. When we have to think about the advancement of charter schools, and we have to think about, I'm not talking about advancement in a good way, I'm talking about the increase in charter schools, and then we have to consider what the state has done to allow those charter schools to continue to operate even when they're operating at a lower standard than what public schools are with the waivers and these kinds of things. And so it's clear that the stage was set to reach their objective, and that was to turn Little Rock or to charterize, as Robert said, to charterize Little Rock School District. And I don't know that there's any way to prevent it, because if the majority of legislators in Arkansas, if the majority elected this next coming term are Republican, then whatever we do to try to undo what they've done now, they're simply going to create more laws to continue to move their agenda forward. And let me point this one thing out that I think is very critical. In regards to the union and the PPC, during the last legislative session where this bill was introduced by Ballinger and Dotson, we were aware, we knew, and the union should have known. I knew, because we were doing our best to try to defeat that bill as well as many other bills. But civil rights organizations should have been aware. They should have been fighting with us, fighting against this bad bill that allowed the state to be in a position to basically water down the authority of the union to protect and to represent its members. Because that bill was floating around, there was a lot of conversation about it, but I really don't think people actually read what the bill was proposing. They didn't read I don't think it just registered at that time that it was a bill that everybody should have been fighting against. Because, and here's where they tricked them. In that bill that required, they gave the PPC requirement. In that bill, they worded it as if unions would still have some kind of power. Because there's a section in that bill that says that the school district, cannot take any action to threaten or coerce a teacher not to join the union. And so the way that it was worded, and I say trick, lack of a better word, the way that it was worded, the teachers and organizations were keyed in or focused in on the fact that they wouldn't be prevented from joining unions, and they completely missed the other part where the main responsibility of the union in negotiating in PPC was being removed in that same bill. And so both of y'all were talking about who's at fault and who's responsible. Man, everybody's responsible. The organizations, the parents, the legislators, the teachers, the union. We are all responsible for the current state of condition.
I can't let you do that.
It's true. We are all responsible, because if we had to come together in a greater collective effort, when we saw, because I know you saw it, when we saw the efforts and the steps that they were making, talking about Asa and his crew, when we saw what they were doing, we should have made strategic moves to prevent them from being successful in their step-by-step actions. And we didn't do that.
No.
And that's my point.
But I can't say that the onus falls back on us. And by us, I mean just us regular everyday folks. The onus don't fall back on us. The onus first falls on the teachers union.
It ain't about first and last, man.
It always
don't matter who it falls on
because
first.
every time I look up, it's always somebody always pointing the finger at us. It's y'all fault. Y'all should have did more. Now let me tell you something, man.
The average everyday person is the one that votes these knuckleheads into office.
I sat at those meetings and I listened and I listened and I listened.
Yeah.
And the one thing I realized is that this was a ship that wasn't going nowhere fast. You got some folks rowing this way and some folks rowing that way.
And so you threw your hands up too soon.
You
left the rest of us bailing water while you jumped ship, Rob. I'm just saying.
Benedict, Robert.
The school district was never my fight. There were other people who seriously. There were other people.
See, usually we on the same
team. There were other people.
I got a part.
That's fine. There was other people who were in control of certain things. And like I said, I take a back seat. I don't want to step on toes because we know how people get sensitive about their things.
And again,
And
so
I
while
don't
we
wanna
were
step on
bailing
toes.
bailing buckets of water out the sinking ship, you jumped ship.
I never jumped ship. I was always on the dock watching y'all ass. I never jumped ship. I was just standing on the dock watching.
You never
y'all.
got
I never
on
got on
it.
that boat. I saw where that boat was going. That boat wasn't going nowhere fast.
Right?
That boat. I mean, but the thing is, not only was the boat going nowhere fast, but there was not even a voice of reason. I mean, you gotta admit, a lot of people just walked away. I mean, John Walker, a lot of people just walked away from it because a lot of people saw the direction.
Writing on the wall.
The writing was there, and plus, you can't have a. I'm a firm believer. You gotta have a strategy, and there's some very simple things you have to do. And the first thing was, if they say they took your district over because your district was failing, okay. The first thing I need that plan. Yeah. And that's the only conversation we should have had all the way through. None of this other stuff matters. Don't give me my district back. That's just ignorance. Yeah. I'm gonna give it back to you. You can have your district back, but it ain't gonna be what you took.
Well, and he was really not even giving it back when you look at the categories and the wording in the categories.
I have my hand up. So
okay,
that means you're supposed to let me talk.
Please carry on, black man.
All that sounds wonderful. That was wonderful prose on your part, Robert. That was just wonderful follow up on your part as well. I'm
snake bite.
I'm so proud that I'm able to do a show with two very learned black men.
Boom! Now what is it?
But at the end of the day,
whose fault is it?
That water's under the bridge. It's flowing.
Okay. All right.
So ain't nothing we can do about it.
Okay, so what can we do now?
So the next step as far as the black community is concerned is where do we go now?
Yeah, but I see where you're going, Dave, because you said a moment ago about educating ourselves, but that's not a viable option.
No, that's the long-term approach. But I'm saying at this point, the black community should be having meetings in churches, mosques, living rooms.
What the hell you think a church gonna do?
Will you just let me finish, sir?
And even your long-term plan is a plan for segregation.
Let me make sure I stress this. I ain't tripping about segregation. I'm down with that.
I ain't either.
I'm straight down with it. But let me tell you something. Don't segregate me and not give me my damn money. I want my money too. I don't want you to segregate me and keep my money.
That's my point.
Yeah,
that's my point.
Give me my damn money.
Look. The problem with this whole mantra has been is that it seems that black people are fighting more to go to school with white folks than white folks want to go to school with black folks.
ISIS cold.
Okay, so my point is this: that look, I know for a fact that when black kids were segregated, even with poor textbooks, more of them were going to college than any other time in our history. So here's my point: is that if you wanna segregate us, that's fine. That gives me an opportunity to raise my own kids, educate my own kids. But I'm like you, Robert, make sure that you give me my money. Because when you don't give me my money, that's when I'm going to be upset. But at this point, it's pretty clear to me, I don't know why I'm the only one that can see this, but it's pretty clear to me that they don't want to go to school with our children.
I don't care if you want to go to school with me or not.
That's my point.
Just give me my damn money. That's all I want.
That's what I'm saying.
Give my money, let me go. I'm good.
So that's what I'm saying, because at some point you gotta hit the bully in the face. You may get one shot, but you gotta make that shot count. And right now, Asa Hutchinson, the Republican Party as a whole, they're bullies. And at some point, if we don't get,
they ain't bullying us. Honestly, they don't bullying us.
I'm using that as an analogy.
We have not identified a very clear plan that we follow. You can't call that bullying.
That's my point.
That's not being bullied. Being bullied is that if we got a plan and they kick us in the ass at every turn, we're not playing. We ain't been kicking the ass with our plan.
But here's the thing, and I know I would venture to say that I think it's safe to say that both of you would agree with this, is that in many instances, we as a people have a difficult time coming together on one accord for any issue. In contrast, or in comparison, the white population and other cultures are more likely to come together with one plan on one issue. And I think that that's an area where we fail in many instances.
And whose fault is that?
Leadership. Because the people that are in positions of authority or leadership in our communities all want to be the boss. They all want to be the chief. It has to be their
Well, they want a glad
It
hand.
has to be their way or the highway, and that's part of the problem.
And that's
Not all,
That's
but it's
problematic.
part of the problem. Just this morning.
Hold that thought. We got to take a break.
See how you think
Just
about
because it's your show, man,
Yeah.
don't mean you got to do
No, it's just because I need to pay for this damn show.
Those of you that
Sam.
are watching Facebook Live, thank you for joining for the power of this. I'm your host, Aaron.
All right, we're going to take a break. We'll continue this conversation. Look, I'm sorry. Y'all can say I'm for segregation all you want. I don't give a damn.
I'm down with segregation.
I want to
I thought you
educate
was
my
going
own
to a break.
children.
I thought you were going to a break when you
I am.
interrupted me. Go to a break.
This is my show.
Go.
Segregation now, segregation forever.
We'll be back in a moment.
And to be a G, yeah, I want segregation, but all the teachers that take the Little Rock, all the black ones, y'all go with the white folks. Y'all don't come with us.
Is there a plan moving forward?
No, but that's what I'm trying to
Because
say.
I think that's what I was talking about earlier when y'all made comments about where we are and where we're going to end up at. That I tend to agree with you that I don't see a way out right now. I really don't. I mean, I don't see a way forward that benefits.
If they can,
us as a
if they can
community.
organize parents right now,
Yeah, but I'm talking about realistically though. That's because that's not going to happen. So realistically, is there a realistic way forward? And I don't see it.
I don't either.
I mean, it's just my opinion.
I honestly think if they can figure out what to organize parents, they can.
But we have to do that. We would have to find something that motivated parents because just educating kids is not enough to motivate
Yeah,
them.
I think you'd have to have a couple of different messages. I don't think it'd be one. You know what I'm saying? I don't think you just go in there talking about educating kids. I think you go in there talking about 4 or 5 different things. I mean, you just do one thing.
Yeah, but still, what are you going to talk about? Because the only things that seem to matter are money, right? Economics, right? And then academics, right? Academic success and progress. And then, I mean, what else is there? What else are you going to talk about?
And I want to provide you with the best legal
I mean, I don't think there are 4 or 5 things that we could talk about that would encourage and motivate parents to come together. I mean, we ought to be able to, in an ideal situation, we ought to be able to send out an email blast and say, all right, let's go. And everybody show up. In an ideal situation, everybody doing the same thing at the same place at the same time. But it's not realistic. It's ideal. But it's not realistic. Because anytime, for example, yesterday at the press conference, the governor's press conference, there were like total, at any given point, there were like 20 people, maybe, maximum, maybe. And this is where the governor is talking about the future of the district. Now, he ain't hardly saying nothing, right? And so people are showing up to protest at these forums and all these other things. But now the governor, who has hardly said anything publicly, has a press conference and you get less than 20 people in the room. And then they don't allow you in the real room. You just in the real room with Jason. Right. So, can we realistically send that email blast out or send that social media post out and say, all right, 11 o'clock, we're going to be over here at the state capitol, let's be there? And the answer is no, it's not realistic.
Your aggravation. Joy Network.
I think so.
The views and opinions expressed today on Black Focus Radio are not the views and opinions of the station, its management, or its advertisers. Now, let's get ready to focus on our issues, our solutions, using our voices on Black Focus Radio.
I believe if everybody came together now, I believe they could probably pull it off.
Yeah, if. Everybody's not going to come together, man. And usually I'm that guy, I'm that voice of reason, an optimistic voice saying, we can do this, let's go get it. But in this case, the Little Rock School District, although I continue to encourage and support activism on this movement, I don't know that we're in a position anymore to change what they're doing or what they're going to do. I just don't see it.
55683.
Well, you gotta have you should have that
And Robert
You
Webb.
gotta be having conversational decision makers, and you're not doing it.
All right, back to the show. Black Focus Radio, second hour of the show. We're here every day, 12 to 2 p.m., right here on joinetradio.com. Our issues, our solutions, our voices. We got lots of issues. We got lots of voices. We ain't got no damn solutions.
We got tons of solutions.
You know?
No, we don't.
So we ain't got
We got
nothing.
tons of solutions.
Now, this
You
is
know.
one of those situations where I agree. We know what the problem is, but is there a way forward? I don't think so.
Well, I mean, the most
Before y'all get
important-
in there, let me give the number 855. I was using that as a tease. Y'all just jumped right on in there and took a big old bite. 855-554-0568. I just gave you my cell phone number.
Yeah, that would be What the hell?
He's got that old man syndrome.
Oh man.
Jesus.
855-525-5683 is the number. Also, you can hit me up on Facebook, Twitter. You can also catch the new podcast. We will upload, or I will upload the show sometime tonight or tomorrow, so you can catch that if you missed the first part of it. We're talking about the Little Rock schools today, folks. Can a mess be turned into a miracle?
I still believe it can.
Well, the only way to do that at this point is
But you just said it wasn't no. You just said it wasn't no
I'm saying it's
solution.
not possible. But
Why do you say it's not
the only way to do that at this point would be legislative action. That's
But how do you
because legislative action is what's put us in this position.
You have no
Every
legislators.
time-
What legislators
And
you
that's
gonna
my
get?
point, Rob, is
Oh, okay,
that
okay.
there is, in my opinion, no way forward because every time there's something that Asa needed to overcome, he'd go and talk to the majority, the Republican majority, and they would pass a bill, right?
Yeah.
How long they can hold the school district hostage. What kind of terms and conditions the district has to meet before the hostage is released.
Right.
And then what type of power do the employees have, or do they have any power to protect their jobs if they take an action, right, against the state and what is happening? And Asa has done a very crafty job, him and his team, of putting the things in place that are necessary to make it near impossible to undo without legislative action. So, I mean, and that's just my opinion. I believe in prayer. I pray constantly. But sometimes, even when we pray, we end up learning from our mistakes. And part of that learning is facing the consequences of our mistakes. And we've made some mistakes in regards to Little Rock School District. And I think that we're going to have to pay the consequences for those mistakes that we made. And I know Rob would probably tend to differ when I say we or us, because he ain't part of that us since he never got on the ship. But for the rest of us, we have to pay for the mistakes that we've made and allowing these folks to do what they want to do.
So, part of that I agree with. And I mean, part of that I agree with. But I think the way you write this ship now, the only way you can write that ship now is you gotta get these parents organized.
Rob thinks it's still a solution, man.
I always, because let me tell you something.
He thinks there's an answer. I don't see it.
The only reason
when we talk about,
I feel the only
but when
reason
we talk
they did
about
this.
if Rob, Rob,
Listen
what-
to
what-
me. Listen to me,
what if?
Rizal. Listen
If
to me.
and buts were candy and nuts, we'd all have America.
Right
You
there.
feel that way. This is the thing. January 28th, we take over your district. The only voices that you have coming forth are the same damn voices that you had coming forth in 2015,
Yeah,
are the same ones you got coming forth in 2019.
yeah.
Ain't no new voices came forth. Right? So you know what that tells me? That tells me you don't have the pulse of the people.
Where would those
That
voices
also
come
tells
from?
me that will come from your parents in the district. That also tells me, right, that even teachers, we can even get these damn teachers scared. So guess what? We got free reign.
Yeah, but after that last negotiation, I'm not surprised that they're scared, because I mentioned strike the other day, a few days ago. I'm all for a strike, and it's easy for me to say that because it don't hurt my money. But when you put that out there and you've got teachers that are saying, well, I'll get fired if I strike, it's understandable that they're afraid, because the sacrifices that were being made in civil rights decades ago, they're not trying to make those sacrifices anymore. They're not trying to lose their jobs. They're not trying to lose their home and lose their car.
Right.
And so they are afraid. And then when you got a watered down contract, the way they negotiated this last go round when Curtis was there, then it makes bad matters even worse, and there is no way forward.
Right. Somebody just asked me if we don't mind to lay out the mistakes that the mistakes by what we see as mistakes.
I'll tell you the main mistake, the main mistake that we made, I think the most critical one, is in the very beginning when we knew the direction that the state was going.
I'm with you on that.
That we should have put everything we had into fighting against their agenda, and we did not do that.
Right.
Now, the excuses,
I can agree with that.
reasons why we didn't do that, I don't know, because I think there are various reasons. No, people don't want to lose their job. People ain't got time. People are not interested. There are a lot of reasons it didn't happen.
Kind of like why they
But
don't
we
vote,
saw,
right?
I mean, we were all saying it. I know Rob was saying it. Dave was saying it. I was saying it. Anika was saying it. We were all saying it. This is what's going to happen. But we couldn't get enough people to get involved to address it at that time. And now there's more support for opposition, right? There's more support to get the district back now than ever before, but it's too little too late in my opinion. Because now everybody want to fight. But even though everybody wants to fight, everybody's coming from and going to a different direction, because nobody wants to get behind a leader. And I'm going to tell you something. If I had my choice and I was looking for a leader that was a non-elected, not a political person, if I were looking for a leader right now on this issue, then I would get behind Anika Whitfield. I'm telling you, if we could all get behind one leader, if we could choose a leader, we know what the problem is. We know what needs to be done. We just haven't selected a leader that everyone is willing to follow. If we can if we can identify that leader and get behind that leader, if for example, if Anika was that leader and she shot out an email saying, let's go time and place, and we all hit that time and place together in unity, then we would have some strength, and then we might change something. Because even though Asa Hutchinson is term limited, he's on his way out, there are a lot of folks that are trying to run and expected to run for political office. And if we could ever get behind one person with the same voice together, then we have a better opportunity, because then they're counting votes. We're not doing anything until we make them count votes.
All right.
I'll talk whenever y'all.
Go ahead. I'll let you go.
No, go ahead.
I'll
Go
let you
ahead. I'm simply saying at this point, because I agree with what you're saying, Rozelle. At this point, because this is not going to be the only issue. I firmly believe that there are some shenanigans about to take place at that city board. I don't know.
At what city board? City board?
At the city board overall. I don't have any evidence to that, but I'm looking at a pattern of what Little Rock has done. And look, I'm going to say it like this. Their biggest fear is being taken over by black people. It's the current across the country with a lot of white folks, especially in the South. And they are shoring up themselves politically and legally so that will not happen. The one thing that people fail to understand is when they decided to add those 2 more board members to the school board, that was specific. Okay? That was specific because the last time they had an election in Little Rock, they had a predominantly black board. So how do we solve that problem? Let's add 2 more board members. And in all likelihood, although they haven't shown what districts they will be, I guarantee you they will come from at least 50-50 or predominantly white areas. I promise you that. So they have laid out their groundwork over the years to tell us that they are not going to play ball.
Okay.
So it is time for black people to start your plans. What is your plan? If you're going to beat an opponent, no matter what it is, football, basketball, war, you got to have a plan of action. And I'm tired of black people running around like chickens with their head cuts off after the bomb has been dropped. It's too late then, okay? We ought to be, look, I'm not going to your meeting just so you can get up at the meeting and tell me how much you know about the past.
You said something.
Okay? I want to know what the hell we going to do next. I'm tired of these meetings. I'm just tired. That's why that Revolt Summit, I didn't watch it. I don't give a damn what Killer Mike and T.I. has to say or Candace Owens. I don't care. I want to know, what are black people going to do next? And if you're not willing to have that conversation with me, I'm sorry. I can't go to your meetings. I just can't. I don't want to sit around and sing Kumbaya. I don't want to sit around and break bread with you. I want to know what we are doing, not them, but what we as the black community are doing to shore up our community, whether it's educationally, whether it's economically, whether it's spiritually. That is our responsibility, okay, at the end of the day. And until we do that, man, I just watched the video where 4 Arab men just beat the dog crap out of 2 black women because the black woman said they were overcharged at the tank. And you know what black folks were doing? They were standing around videotaping it. Now, one black man stepped in to help those 2 sisters. And then when they came back to protest, the whole damn city, the whole black community in Pittsburgh should have been out at that damn Arab station. But you know what? It was only 50 people there. I want to know what black people are willing to do for their own damn freedom. That's what it boils down to now, folks.
Okay, so I'm going to take you back, brother. When I first got into this, I used to sit at home on the couch, read the paper, and think, man, that's dumb. Why are people doing that? Why are they doing this? The thing I learned being involved in this process is that sometimes you got to be doing 2 or 3 things simultaneously.
Exactly.
Right? I learned that, right? You can't just do one thing and think that one thing's going to get you where you need to be. Now, for me, the issue for me will always be, I just believe that there's a way you do certain things, right? I can't have a damn protest. If I have a protest, my protest is to spark conversation. If I am saying 3 years later, I want a meeting with the governor, what the hell is that? 4 years later, I'm talking about a meeting with the governor. I should already have the governor's ear. We should already be having conversations. I cannot be having conversations with anybody 3 years later, 4 years later. I should be having those conversations now. All right? Now, I said before, man, sitting at home on the couch, I often wondered why things happened the way they did. And now that I'm involved in this process, I understand all too well why they do. Because, unfortunately, we work for other things other than outcomes. We're working for so many other things. We're not working for outcomes. We're working for everything else, but we're not working for an outcome. I mean, we haven't even gathered all the information so that we can make a valid argument to why this is not good. There's been no research done around the impact of charter schools in other places. There is no conversation about any of this because we knew this was coming. It's not like we just woke up this morning and figured out, hey, this is what's going to happen. Now, everybody's saying, oh man, we made some mistakes. We made more than a mistake. We've made tons of mistakes. First and foremost, when they took over the district, there was no pushback. None. People coming down there saying, hey, we pissed off, don't take our district. Yeah, that was cool. But you had no pushback from parents. That was the biggest mistake. We had no parent interaction. There was not one parent committee created to fight this. Everybody took it upon themselves to be their own independent contractors, and they tried to fight this thing. And how can you do that? How can you do that?
Well, again,
hold on, man. Hold on.
Yeah.
They took over. They did that. They came in. Yeah, they came in. They slapped us. They slapped us with the takeover. They came back, and along the way, they just kept inching away slowly at us. And the whole time, you had some people who were out there fighting, but then they said, okay, now we already know we ain't got no parent involvement. Mm-hmm. Let's see about teacher involvement. Let's see what the teacher's going to do. Let's see what teacher's going to do. So what they do? They said, okay, let's ask for a waiver for teacher fair dismissal for Little Rock School District. Let's see what we get then. So they asked for the waiver. And then what happened? What happened? Yeah, of course, AEA and LRE fought it. But did any teachers come down there? Did they say, hey, listen, this day, we need every teacher, every Little Rock School District teacher call in sick, you need to be down at the board meeting. They didn't do that. So if you don't do that, guess what you said? They said, okay, they ain't got no parents, they ain't got teachers. Okay, we can put our plan in motion now. Because, hey, every time they shot across the bow, you had no comeback. None. You can't blame me for that hell. As a parent, you can't blame me because y'all ass ain't did what y'all supposed to do. Y'all ain't step up to the plate. Y'all even holding up y'all end. Now, you can't even get mad at the parent. Teachers see parents every day. Every day. They got connection to parents every day. They could have organized this thing in 6 weeks. This whole thing could have been organized in 6 weeks. You got the teachers union. You tell your teachers union, hey, listen. Y'all get on the phone, y'all start calling these parents, let them know what's going on. We finna organize these parents. No, they didn't do that. But now everybody wanna sit and say, them damn parents need to get their shit together. No, the teachers need to get theirs together. Cause they said, you know what, we're gonna shoot one over the bow at these niggas, see what they do, see what these niggas do. We know how niggas do. Niggas just gonna get loud. They ain't gonna do nothing, they just gonna get loud. So they shot across the bow, niggas got loud, didn't they? Then niggas got quiet. Then they shot another, niggas got loud again. Then niggas got quiet. So what they do? They said, you know what, we just gonna run out playing. We ain't gonna worry about them no more. But that, like I said, you can't be talking about 4 years later, we need a meeting with the man. You don't do that. You need to meet with the governor. You should have already been having conversations with them. You can't let this get out of hand and then say, well, we need a meeting. We need to sit down and talk. No, goddammit, the time to talk was 2 years ago. You can't be talking about talking now. You gonna kick in the, now, I'm a firm believer in kicking in the door. But when I kick in the door, I got a phone number I can call and say, I didn't really want them to kick in that door. But let's have a conversation. Maybe we can start from kicking in another one. You can't just be kicking in doors and you ain't having no conversation with nobody. You ain't got you have entree with no one. Not the state board, not Johnny Key. You ain't got nobody nowhere to have a conversation with. What the hell? That's where you screwed up at all the way around. But again, your teachers union, LREA has all the power. They got the teachers who all they got to do is tell teachers, listen, y'all in contact every day. When these parents come to pick their kids up from school, y'all need to start having a little small conversation with them. Let them know what's going on. Because y'all on the front lines. Hell, y'all got direct contact. In 4 years, they ain't organized one damn parent.
And then you
in
have
4
to deal
years.
with the snitches too, don't you? The snitches that might be inside the teachers union that's going to be telling the administrators what we got going on. But here's my question. Right now today, for you and Dave, right now today, if someone, Nika for example, said, hey, next week we're going to get together, the teachers going to strike, and we need everybody that we can to show up. Are y'all going to show up?
I'm not.
Why not?
Because I'm not, that's not my thing anymore.
You gonna show up, Dave? Well, but you can talk. If you can talk about it, you can be about it.
No, I'm a radio host.
You gonna show up, Dave?
I'm a radio host.
No, I'm not going to show up.
Yeah, and see,
You know why I'm not going to show up?
That's part of the problem.
Did you not hear the show?
Part of the problem.
You must have been out talking on the phone.
Part of the problem, Dave.
Let me just say one more again.
What?
Let me just say one more again.
If you're not gonna show up, you're
Okay.
part of the problem.
Oh, now we part of the problem.
I'm not going
Now
to
we
show
part of
up
the problem.
because I don't want to go to any more events that's preaching.
That's
Okay?
not what I'm talking about,
Listen to
Dave.
me.
That
Listen.
wasn't my
Listen.
question.
Listen to my point.
What Rob said
Listen
is
my
that
point.
if we could get parents, Rob
Okay,
keyed in
let
on
me-
parents.
let me
He
tell
said
you
if
something.
we can get
Let
parents,
me tell
what
you
if we
something.
could get everybody to come together, same place, same time, and take an action? Would you be there?
If we are going to take
Take an action for, hold on. No, hold the hell on. What we taking action for?
I want to hear Dave.
No. What we
I
taking
wanna
the
hear
action
what
for?
Dave
No.
said.
What is this action for? What's the action for?
I want to hear what Dave.
Okay, go ahead, Dan. Go ahead. I done got it. Oh, man.
I'm about to say what you about to say.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
My bad.
I said a while back that I'm done going to meetings just to meet.
Yeah.
Just to show up and see, girl, I ain't seen you in a long time. I want action. And if you're gonna call a meeting, then we need to have some plans of actions when we leave that meeting. I'm not going to meet no more. I'm done with that. I'm done talking. I'm done glad handing. I want something. Look,
I'm not talking about a meeting, Dave. I'm talking about a rally or protest.
I ain't going to no damn rally.
See,
I ain't going to no
that's
damn
the
protest.
problem,
I'm going. I want to go. I want to go somewhere.
But let me tell
We
you
done
why
had
that's a
rally
problem,
after
Dave.
rally,
Here's-
protest after protest.
but
I
here's
even
the
came
problem.
up with a new fight song. We done overcame.
But-
We done overcame.
And again,
And we still ain't got
again,
jack.
Here is the problem, because we've got a solution. It might not be.
What's the solution?
It might not be workable, but if we're gonna use Robert's what if scenarios, right?
That ain't no what if
If
scenario.
we use Robert's what if scenarios,
That ain't a what if scenario.
and we want
That's
to
realistic.
find, we want to find a way to make change or to bring change and go and move forward. Here is
What
what.
the hell you mean? Find a way. I
Here
just
is-
said to
wait,
you.
wait,
You
here-
got.
here-
Oh, I'm done. I
here-
can't take it.
here-
I can't take it.
Here is what it is, Dave. This is what it is. Politicians make decisions
Breathe.
based
Breathe, Robert.
on votes, right? Politicians make decisions based on politics, right? And so if politicians see that there are a large number of voters, not just people, but voters, that are involved in an issue trying to bring about change, if politicians see that, then we are more likely to get what we want than if we don't take any action at all. Voting and the threat of voting one way or the other is how we influence change, and that is the solution. May not be a realistic solution because we won't be able to get those people together, in my opinion, but that is the solution. Voters, because voters is what moves politicians, period.
Okay. Both of y'all.
Now y'all can cry all you
Yeah,
want.
both of y'all sounded wonderful again. I'm just honored to be in the presence of two great men.
All right, now,
I just got one thing to say.
But
you don't
my
cry. Ain't
point
nobody,
is
I ain't
this.
talking to you no more, Robert.
My
This
point
is
is
what. Hold on, no, Dave. No, all right, go ahead.
I'm
Go
not
ahead.
talking to you anymore, Robert.
my point is this. Okay.
Okay.
That if I am not going to any meetings where we're not putting together a plan of action. I'm not going to any rally. I ain't going to a picnic. I don't give a damn if the food
Then
is
that's
free.
what an action is,
Okay,
Dave.
I want to know that when we go to this rally, that meeting, that they're going to be heads coming together and saying, "Okay, this is how we're going to attack this issue." And just not
Now,
just the
that I
schools,
agree with.
not just the
That I agree
schools,
with.
not just. I'm
Knowing
talking
who's
about
coming
economically.
together and knowing
Okay.
somebody's coming together.
Okay,
Right.
I want to make sure that from this point on, I don't mind lending my voice. I don't mind lending my education. I don't mind lending my knowledge. But my point is that I need to know that I'm going somewhere. And right now, it ain't a damn person in this city that's going to lead me anywhere because everybody's too afraid.
And
Okay?
so what if?
Now, Robert called it.
Robert, what if there was a possibility or an opportunity to bring a large number of people together with the same mind, doing the same thing, same place, same date, same time, together? What if that opportunity was here or presented itself? Would you show up or would you be like everybody else?
Robert.
See, that's my point.
Okay. Let me bag up. Let me bag up. Rizal is talking about this big movement, and yeah, politicians like that. Governor Hutchinson, he ain't got there's no significance for him. He's termed out, right? These other guys who are in the House, there's no issue for them because you have no control over them either because they ain't even in Arkansas. I mean, they ain't even in Little Rock. All right, so we continue to go on we work with your premise. Then yeah, it don't even make sense to have it rather now because we impact nobody. The state board, they're not elected, they're appointed. So it doesn't even make any sense. The rally point makes no sense.
So just do nothing.
Well, hold on. We're gonna go back to my what if scenario.
Yeah.
So again, since day one, you've had the teachers union with all the teachers, and teachers have direct contact to who? The parents.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So how does that not work? How is that a possible? How is that a possibility?
What are talking about?
Organizing the parents. That's it. That's all you. That's the only option you have.
To do what?
To take back that district. That's the only option you have. How what?
You can't take nothing without some kind of action. So what is that?
So
action?
so now you
when
the action
all
you
the
want to
parents,
have.
when all the parents get together, what are they going to do?
You need to find your spokesman, educate them, and have them go down to that state board meeting with none of y'all, just by themselves, and take their district back. Because again, the same voices ain't gonna have no power. Why they can't do it by themselves? They need y'all.
But we need to stand with them.
We
don't have to talk. I go to plenty events and play. Matter of fact, involving Little Rock School District, I've showed up at numerous events and just sat back in the cut just to be physically there for support. So we don't have to be the ones speaking, simply to be there and show as a show of physical support.
No, if I'm going, I got to speak.
I ain't got nothing to say. Because the thing is, it ain't for us. We need to let the parents. We need to let the parents have that voice. We need to educate them and empower them with information.
Again, you think
so they
that,
can go down and have that
the
conversation.
teachers need to use their contact resources to communicate the effort to the parents, and then the parents need to take the physical action of showing up and being the lead, if you will, in the movement to regain the district.
Hell yeah.
Now I get it.
Because that ain't happening now. That's what I've been saying the whole time.
But
now you get it. Now you say you get it.
I get it.
See,
But see, a few minutes ago, y'all were saying, no rallies, no protests.
No, you don't need no damn rally. What you doing a rally?
A rally is basically what you're talking about.
Oh, damn, here we go again.
Ain't that what you
Y'all just like rally. Come on, Dr. King.
Ain't
You
that
just
what
like a
you
damn rally. Come on,
You talking
King.
about a large group of folks getting together, going someplace at the same time, same place.
Allow me to explain what I'm saying. I'm saying you start organizing. No, you don't create a rally. Because what a rally gonna do?
You organize a rally?
No, you don't.
That's what you're talking
you
about,
might want to
rally.
organize one.
You talking about rally?
I know y'all like them rallies. Y'all like rallies.
A rally is getting folks together.
Let me tell you how I would recommend.
I've been to rallies, and rallies don't do shit.
Let me tell you how. Let me tell you how I would recommend doing this. Okay. Let me tell you how I would recommend doing this. Okay. It's movement starts in living rooms. Okay. I'm a student of history, and especially of the 60s.
Okay.
Those movements started in people's living rooms. Okay. And what parents and concerned citizens alike must do is start talking about this in their living rooms. This is how you create a movement.
We don't have that kind of time.
Okay. Well, you had 4.5 years. You didn't do nothing. If you're going to create a legitimate, solid movement that's going to stand the test of time, it takes planning. So it starts in living rooms. Okay. And and you ain't talking to the media. You're not talking.
We do.
Okay, I'm trying to tell you, Rizal. If you just quit interrupting me, I think you're a plant for the governor the way you're acting. Okay, so after you do that, okay, that's where you begin to identify who are the leaders in those living rooms. Okay, and you identify them, and then they go meet and continue the same agenda. This is how you build a grassroots support. You are not going to do it by simply jumping out there and having marches and rallies. Nothing comes out of those. As so people march, you got bad feet, you're tired, you're sweaty, you go home, and then what next? If you that's what number one, what frustrates people more. Man, we had a great march, but what was next? And the reason I know this will work is because of the African American People's Convention. I've talked about this on this show before. It is the only movement that I was ever involved with that got something done, and that was the election of Willie Harrington, the first black mayor of Memphis, because people met in their living rooms. People decided that this is how we're going to pursue this. And then they had delegates, and they said, oh, this is what we're going to agree upon as the entire black community. And then guess what? They had a convention at the Mid-South Coliseum, and everybody who attended that convention that was a politician had to abide by what was decided out of that convention. I know it works. I was part of one. That's what we have to do.
If you got 50 years to burn.
It took us 1 year.
Hey man,
You got a year, Dave?
we moved $3 million in 2 weeks. We moved $3 million in 2 weeks.
What can
$3 million in 2 weeks.
I just
and
told you.
And that was.
What?
We just told you, Rizal.
I just told you.
We just told you what to do now.
Now.
We
What
already
can
told you.
we
We already
just
told
told
you.
you.
We already told you,
This
Rizzy.
movement.
We already
just
told you,
told you.
Rizzy.
Y'all talking about long term.
No, we ain't talking about long term.
so-
Rizzy,
long
Rizzy,
term.
you can organize. Teachers can organize tomorrow. Y'all can have 100 teachers. You're gonna have 100 parents on board tomorrow if they just make the call to organize.
You think so?
I know so.
Why wouldn't it?
Yeah, I heard that directly from Robert's mouth. Make the call. You can have at least 100 teachers ready to go by
No,
tomorrow.
100 parents.
Parents. 100
How many members they got in the LRA? How many members they got?
100 parents.
Let's say they got 1,000.
Yeah.
If each one of them reach out to one parent, that's 1,000 parents right there.
How come it ain't happened yet, Robert?
I don't work for LRA. I can't tell you. But you do. Rizal, my question is, Rizal, you have been in these meetings,
When did you
Rizal.
make that proposal?
You have been in these meetings,
When did you make
Rizal.
that proposal to anybody, Rob?
When I make what
Before
proposal?
today, when have you ever made that statement before today?
I've been saying this on radio shows for the last four years, Rizal.
When
haven't been.
have you ever
I've
gone?
You haven't been listening
When
to
have
the
you,
show.
You don't listen to
when
it.
have
You
you
don't listen to
ever gone to the head of the
See,
teachers
since-
union and
since
said,
he got his show, he
send
don't
out
listen
to- He don't
this,
listen to our show
send
no more.
out
He don't
this
listen to our show.
information to your teachers
what it
and
is.
tell them this is what and how we need to do it. How many people have you told that to outside the radio?
Rizal, God, man, damn,
What's
Rizal.
wrong? How many-
Rizal, brother, come on
many,
now,
Rob?
brother.
How
I'm sitting here.
how many union leaders have you talked to and
You know,
said encourage them
let me tell you
or
something.
advise them
Let me tell you
to
something,
get
Rizal.
their teachers to send out this communication to the parents and get it
NEA, AEA, LEA, OEA, all these education
All the letters,
associations,
yeah.
all the letters of the alphabet, they done had this problem before. This ain't nothing new. This ain't nothing new. Now my problem is that from what I understand, AEA is like the big organization. They can't overstep on LEA, LREA. It ain't nothing they can do. If LREA is not doing anything, they can't do anything, right?
Yeah.
So I get that.
They
If
would only
NEA
act as they
right,
support
and NEA can't do anything if AEA is not doing it. If AEA is not engaged, right? So again, what I'm saying to you is, I don't give a damn how many times I say it. If you a school teacher in Little Rock School District and you've been sitting on your hands for the last 4 years, hell, that ain't got nothing to do with me. We've been saying this stuff we've been saying this the whole way through, bro.
How many teachers actually support returning Little Rock School District back to the elected?
I don't know. You should ask Teresa and Kathy.
I wonder if
You should ask Teresa and
I
Kathy.
wonder if
That's what's
I
important.
wonder if there are a large number of district employees that like things the way they are.
I wouldn't know that.
I'm just wondering.
You know what? But I would not be surprised
That's
if
a
it
good
is.
question, though.
I'm telling you, it's about.
I mean, I
this is
wonder
about white
I
supremacy,
wonder if
folks.
there's anything preventing district employees from taking that action, reaching out to parents and organizing an effort with the parents to go and take an action. I wonder how many of the district employees are actually content where they are right now.
How could you be content knowing that you're about to lose your job?
They don't know they're going to lose their job. They might know they're going to lose their job if they do what you're telling them to do.
How they gonna lose their job when they do what I tell them to do?
Well, I'm telling you, some of them have already commented when I've suggested and advocated for a strike. Some of them have already responded and said, I'll get fired if I do that.
Well, they can't help themselves.
Maybe some of them teachers are afraid. Maybe some of them teachers like things the way they are. Maybe they like Governor Asa Hutchinson being their supervisor. Maybe they like the idea that they might not have to pay any union dues anymore. Maybe they like the idea that they believe they're safer.
Union dues
in
are
the
optional.
hands
They
of
like
the-
it's
in
not
the-
like they
in the
gotta pay union dues.
safer
That's
in the hands
optional.
of the state.
That's optional.
I'm just.
But this is the thing, though. This is the thing. I don't give a damn what they think. My thing is that you gonna tell me you about my kid? Well, if you're about my kid and you think that this is gonna hurt my kid, why the hell ain't you fought for my kid? Well, the reason you ain't fought for my kid is you ain't gonna fight for yourself.
Maybe they don't think it's gonna hurt.
First and foremost, you got.
We don't know what's going on.
First and foremost,
in the heads of
again, I'm gonna take you back. I'm taking you back because I just want to take you back because I think it's important. When this thing first happened, Captain Cola sit in the room full of us and said, "No, we can't strike." Mm-hmm. So at that point,
I wasn't in the room that day.
She admitted defeat. She admitted defeat. Now, for me, this is my thinking. If you ain't got the teachers, you ain't got no damn fight.
So why didn't the union members stand up at that time?
I don't know.
Why?
I can't tell you. But all I know is Captain Cola said we can't strike, and she didn't offer any other option. She said we can't strike.
In that last state board meeting, I think it was Zook that said it. One of them said that.
Talking to Mike, sir.
One of them said that they were receiving messages from teachers saying that the union did not speak for them.
Who said that?
I think that was Zook during that last board meeting, the state board meeting. I think it was Zook. One of the board members said that while we've been talking, I've received messages from teachers saying that y'all don't speak for them. So I wonder how many of those teachers.
Well, it depends. I would like to have context to that because I don't think it means.
Yes, Tracy, you should call in.
Oh Jesus, it's about to get real. I don't know if she was talking. I don't know if that's what she meant, but man, that's crazy. That's crazy to me. That's crazy to me that they would call in, and maybe they just said that those two don't speak for them because if you listen to them, they do say some crazy stuff. So I wouldn't be surprised by that. But again, how can you have a teachers union who have direct contact to teachers, but you have yet to organize parents? You have yet to do that. I don't care what anybody says, Roselle. At the end of the day,
good point.
You can't tell me nothing about nothing else because if you got direct contact every day, all day to parents.
So have we failed? Have we failed in communicating these things to all of the stakeholders, i.e. the parents? Has anyone done that? Because, I really had not thought a lot about it until you brought it up earlier in the show. Have we engaged parents enough other than just a social media post or an email blast about a meeting? Have we engaged parents enough that they understand and know why it is so important to get the Little Rock School District back? Because some really don't. This is the mistake that people make sometimes. Well, they ought to know. Not everyone knows. So it's misguided to say that they're a parent and they should know. Well, they probably should know. It does not mean that they do know.
And you should say that
it's
more important to get your weed done.
Have we failed in engaging the parents?
You can get that blue hair some other day.
Oh, come on, Dave. Come on, man. You really got to go there, man.
Yeah, I can. We got to call. Caller, welcome to Black Focus Radio. What's on your mind? Hang on a minute. Okay, caller, go ahead. Hello, Dr. Whitfield, how are you?
Put it on the external speaker.
Hang on. Hang on a minute. Let me close some of these windows, please.
You can't chew bubble gum and walk at the same time.
I'm sorry. Well, let's do that. Leave. Okay. All right, Dr. Whitfield, that's better. Go ahead. Yeah, we can hear you.
Saying that I heard that you all had been talking about the Little Rock School District today.
Yes, we have.
Tune in because I've been on some calls and had to go see some patients, so I'm sorry that I missed most of the show, but I just wanted to weigh in on the discussion and say that we definitely need people to be engaged and involved with our students and with our parents, even more than those that are. But to also say that there's some amazing and remarkable people in the city of Little Rock who have been stepping up and unifying together. One of the things that I think that the state thought that they could do is to divide the city between the haves and the have-nots. But what they have done is actually bridge people together with their hate and with their evil. And so we're seeing some people that have not commonly worked together absolutely come together on one accord. And so I'm really excited about that. But we certainly have a way to go, and our governor thinks that he can hide behind a constitutional opinion that is his opinion and is shared by billionaires, that what he's doing is justice towards students that are in public schools in our state. But the reality is what he's doing is far from justice, that his state control absolutely is taking away the power of the people from the people who pay taxes and who have the right to have a say about what happens to their schools as well as for their children in their school district. So we won't accept his narrative, and we will just keep pressing forward.
Anika, is there, in your opinion, is there a real way forward in regards to getting the entire district back? And if there is a real way forward, what is that way?
Well, do you discuss your full plans on the radio to everybody, or do you say things like, absolutely there's a way forward, because if they destroyed the district or took away the district certainly as one whole, then they can certainly get it back as one whole. We can say that the state is fully aware that there is no law that holds them or binds them to keeping the Little Rock School District any longer, that their own attorneys have come out and publicly said that at any given time they can release the Little Rock School District back to the taxpaying residents of the city of Little Rock in one whole piece, that it is well within the law to do that. So the magic wand is simply them saying that they're doing it and then following through with it. And what they have said so far is that they are, quote unquote, giving back local control as early as January 2020, but with all of these conditions, with all of these prerequisites, that one set of students and one set of schools would be managed by a group of uncertainty, that another set of schools that are considered and classified as F schools would be overseen by another entity of which they have not made clear what that is. And so it's far from local control. What that is micromanaging the control or what little control they would be giving back to the Little Rock School District community.
Dr. Whitfield, we appreciate your efforts in this, but let me just say, at this point, and I hope there is a plan out there going forward, because there needs to be one, because at this point, I don't think the governor cares what you all do. I'm going to be honest with you, and I'm going by what his tactics have been from day one on this issue. I just don't think he cares what you all do at this point.
Doesn't care, but I will say this, because I'm not a pessimist. I've seen victory come when people said that it isn't going to come. I've seen the board tell us that we can't talk when their attorney goes up forward and tells them that you're wrong, that the state law does allow them to talk. So I've seen that their tactics don't always work for them. But what I will say to you is that unless you are persistent, unless you walk in the faith that you believe in, that you won't be able to achieve or accomplish things. And so what we're trying to do is raise up people who believe in victory. We're trying to raise up people who believe that we can be victorious. We're trying to raise up people who will walk in the victory with us. And for those who are naysayers, once we win this, I hope that you will join us. I hope that you will clap and celebrate. I hope that you will joining and helping the community schools that we want to make sure are sustainable and equitable and world class. But I will tell.
Did we lose him?
Sound like we did.
Did we lose you, Dr. Whitfield? I think we lost her.
Well, I hate that. I had a couple questions, but it's cool.
I think
Maybe
we
she'll
lost.
call back.
So your question.
Oh, she's
Okay,
back.
all right,
She's
you're back. Okay, good.
Okay.
We lost you for a moment. Go ahead.
I was just saying that it takes people that are dedicated, committed, persistent, and willing to give and sacrifice all that they can. And it's not for the faint at heart. So yes, we are up against a Goliath, but all it takes is one smooth stone and put it in the right hand. And so I just believe, my faith tells me that we're victorious. My faith tells me that we can overcome this Goliath. My faith tells me that this Pharaoh is no bigger than the Red Sea that it will drown. So, I absolutely believe we can overcome it.
Yeah, Brazil.
Robert, you got a question?
Yeah, I got a couple questions. What's up, Anika? I'm just gonna talk about it. I ain't doing it. I'm just gonna criticize and complain. I ain't doing it.
Not be about it. Okay.
I'm just gonna talk about it. That's it. I'm just gonna talk about it. I did my thing. So you said you feel y'all gonna be victorious. As you move forward, do you think you can be victorious without having support of LREA? Do you think you can be victorious without having that support?
Who says that we don't have to support an LREA?
Well, the only reason I asked that question is that in the last 4 years, we haven't had a organized movement where you've recruited parents by way of using teachers. So that's why I asked if LREA was totally on board.
That wasn't quite your question. You think you can do it without it, and the assumption is that we would be doing it without it. But there are several teachers and educators and bus drivers who are part of LREA who are absolutely on board with the work that we're doing. And so I would say that you're probably feeding into the negativity that the state wants us to perpetuate, and that is that we're not unified, and that's far from the truth. But the proof will be in the pudding. So as the days roll forward, I think you'll see some things that maybe you haven't seen before.
Okay.
In other words, they got some plans of action that she ain't trying to broadcast on the media.
No, I totally get that.
Okay, so, and I think that's the point of this conversation today, is that we need to stop broadcasting our plans.
No, I totally agree with that.
And
I
we
only
need to
asked
have-
a question about LREA
We need to have
being
some
committed
plans.
to the.
You were just trying to start some mess with Dr. Whitfield.
Oh, how was I starting mess?
Just-
that was a simple question.
You out of the
Jesus.
movement now. That's just like you provocateurs. You get out the movement, and then you try to throw little bombs in and try to mess up everything. We own the you,
I am a journalist.
Mr. Capitalist.
I am a journalist. I am a journalist from 12 to 2 every day. I'm a journalist. So,
Well, Dr.
I
Whitfield,
apologize for being a journalist.
Were you doing some journalism out there too?
Of course, always. I'm always being
in a
journalist.
leopard
Always
skin
journalist.
Speedo at that, by the way.
Ooh, my eyes are hurting me right now.
Y'all got jokes. Y'all got jokes. But it's all right, though. It's all right.
Well,
It's
Dr.
all right.
Whitfield, we appreciate. Yeah, we appreciate you, and hey, keep up the work out there, okay? Now, all right, bye-bye. We had another caller. Let me call back on that one.
You sound like you're kind of scared of a nickel, man.
Scared of who?
A nickel.
He is.
You sound like you're kind of scared, man.
He is.
Hey, man.
Feel it in his
I
voice,
ask a
man.
question.
can hear it in
I
his
ask a
voice.
question. My question to get answered. I'm cool with it.
Yeah, that's what I would say too.
Yes, Miss Tracy Ann Nelson, sorry we missed your call. You wanted to weigh in on this, because we certainly appreciate your voice as well on this. What say you, my sister?
I hear the questions around, why hasn't there been action before? And I will say, number one, I got here after the school district was taken over. And there has been a discussion amongst educators, and they all are not happy with being taken over by the state. That was a question that you guys had about maybe they're happy with where they are. No. Educators are quite unhappy. And they're also quite, they feel quite beat up on. They feel blamed and shamed for all the things that are happening. Yet they show up every single day to make sure there's teaching and learning going on in Little Rock School District, as well as districts across the state. People and action that should come about. And I think there are multiple things
Everybody
that
talking about
are being
actions.
pursued, multiple lanes, but it's really hard to listen to things being said without real facts. So,
Yeah, Robert.
Yeah, here's my thing, and I just want to go back to Robert's question, and since Robert really, kind of scared that I actually follow up on it, here's my concern, is that when we talk about who's supporting what actions, when we look at previous actions, there seems to or appears to be a lack of support. I'm not saying that there is a lack of support. There appears to be a lack of support by the absence of the presence of parents and teachers on a large scale. I can't hear what she just.
has been problematic. I think people have questioned why there's not been, parents and teachers working together to impact what's the outcome. And, my hope was that teachers would have seen actions taken in West Virginia, Oklahoma, Arizona, and sort of been motivated by that, right? Because those results were positive. But, people are much more fearful than you realize. And it takes a while for them to feel backed up into the corner, if I may say that.
One of the things that I've noticed is that in movements in general, is that there are typically always a lot of people that give you verbal support behind the scenes, but when the time comes to actually speak publicly or show up physically to an event or an action, many of those people fail to show up. They fail to turn out, and we all know that praying for me, so to speak. I'll send a prayer up for you and all those things, and I support and believe in prayer. But when you just have people that are praying for you and not coming out and fighting with you, then, in my opinion, it's not a real show of support. And I think that in many of these movements, we lack that show of support because those people are saying that I'm with you behind the scenes, but not with us in front of the scene or in front and the front lines, if you will. And I think that that's a real serious concern in any movement, is that there's a lot of people talking, but not a lot of people moving.
I hear you. Let me just also say that when the state board moved to take away teacher fair dismissal or waive it for Little Rock, that was a packed room. And people showed up because it wasn't just Little Rock; it was also Pine Bluff. Okay, and what people need to understand is that this is the actions that the state board has taken against school districts have only been majority black school districts in the state.
Yeah.
So there's a much black leadership is real. That black folks I mean, it's very interesting. I mean, if you look at the last 10 years in Georgia, there have been all these new cities created, and they have spun away from, you know, the cities that were in place, but that they finally got black mayors, and the majority of the city boards became black. So the control of the resources in African American hands is unfair. And from what I understand, I wasn't here, when the elections were held for Little Rock School District, we were going to have a majority African American board. And that was when the state board moved against Little Rock School District.
You're exactly right. And Miss Tracy, that's why I love you. Because you bring the facts. And especially when you agree with what I've been saying. You know, I know, Miss Tracy, you know, I'm just saying, at the end of the day, we in the black community have got to get organized. And you do that by sitting on the front porch, going door to door, eating dinner, talking to each other about what's going on. You're not going to do it on Facebook. You got to do some face-to-face. You got to do some feet pounding. That's how this gets done. I'm sick of everybody saying, oh, well, what are we going to do? We know what to do. It's in our history to do it.
Being discussed strategically, and that is the fact that our property taxes are paid to support the school district. And we should not be allowing the state board to decide that because they don't have control of our property taxes. And so then how do we go about withdrawing collection of our property tax as long as the state board is getting a say in what we do or how our district operates? I mean, we have to think about stuff that's much more strategic and much more financial.
Miss Tracy, we got to let you go. We're out of time. Robert and Rizal took up most of the time today. So we appreciate you calling. And this conversation will be on the top of the agenda every day until we get a resolution. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. All right. Good job as always. All right, guys. Y'all done stirred up enough trouble today.
I didn't stir up no trouble. I ask questions and then I get criticized for asking questions. I don't understand how this thing works, man. I'm a journalist.
Are you getting sensitive over there?
I'm sensitive. I'm so sensitive.
Well, don't get sensitive, okay?
I'm so sensitive.
You know.
But tomorrow, I'm going to bring the noise tomorrow because y'all
Thank you
ready.
for joining us for the Power of Justice broadcast.
Maybe Rizal won't be here.
Rizal, Aaron,
you know what I think he's
11 a.m.
doing?
to 12 noon.
He tries to come on my show
right
to promote his show.
Studio.
You know?
As always, when I get ready to say bye-bye to the grandbabies, we say bye-bye. We say we love each other.
You do that on your show.
Robert,
so, give a quote.
From the Power of Justice broadcast to all of you out there enjoying that radio land, deuces.
You know what they always say about
my
crazy
mic
people?
wasn't even on. What?
Let them do what they
Let them do their thing.
Yeah. But anyway, good show, folks. I appreciate everybody joining us. These are the conversations that we have to have. I'm not taking any prisoners.
I think it was a good conversation.
Yeah, I think it was too. I'm not taking any prisoners, folks. We've got to start educating our own children. It's pretty clear. Okay.
And I want to say this before we get off the air. I got to make sure I make this point. You can say what you want to say. It's all about how it looks. You can say what you want to say about whatever you want to say about. It's all about how it looks. It's all about perception. And none of this would have happened had there been some things done differently. That's all I think. Okay. That's it. Hey, spend money in your own community. If you don't, nobody else will. Peace.
A voteless people is a voiceless people. A voiceless people is a defenseless people. A defenseless people is a contradiction to democracy.
I can't believe I scared you off of Anika, man.
Discuss our issues with our solutions and our voices. Join us every weekday afternoon at 1 p.m. on JoinNetRadio.com.
I think what you've done is you've